Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Ninqueso Live. I am joined, as always, by my co-host. I haven't thought of an intro for you, so we'll just go back to an old faithful, the immortal Miss Bree.
Immortal undead, that's me.
She was resurrected by a necromancer deep in a Dwemer ruin.
Yeah, do you know what? I've been in the Dwemer ruins this week. I've been a bit more Skyrim because I've been in my flat in London. I know. Meanwhile, the boyfriend's broken the Xbox, and when I got back from London this afternoon, the first thing that I had to do was help Desk Sam to set it back up. Well, the problem was he couldn't get back on The Witcher, and
what did you do?
Well, I don't know if he's listening, so I might not have to say this, but
maybe
it was me.
Did you lock him out of The Witcher? Were you like, I'm going to go to London for a few days and not allow you to play your favourite game?
I know, but we've had several weeks of like non-stop Witcher action, and he's been unable to play all week. Oof, so yeah,
you're mean.
No,
you're mean.
I know. No wonder he was so pleased to see me come back.
All he cared about was The Witcher. I can play again.
Can't get on the Xbox. Fix it, babe. Fix it.
Dear.
So yeah, I've had my own Xbox, as you know, because you bought it me for my birthday.
I did. And I unfortunately bought you the Xbox One S Sad Edition because I didn't realise. And that's saying that is saying something though. It's like someone who knows their video games can actually buy an all digital one by mistake. It was second hand off eBay, and yeah, I'm
happy with it, to be honest.
I wanted to get you a disc drive, but you know.
No, I'm good, to be honest, because it works for me in my flat. It's nice little dinky and it fits fine, and I only play sort of like a few bits and pieces off there. So yeah, so I did. This is the section where we say, what have you been playing this week?
Yeah, what have you been playing this week?
What have I been playing this week? I've played a bit of Skyrim, but I also started No Man's Sky again because it was on Xbox Game Pass.
It is on Game Pass, and it's had so many updates since you last played it.
Exactly. So I started it, and you know what? I remember why. It sucks you in. But yeah, there's tons and tons of updates, which I really like the look of. So I've got started in that, really enjoying it, to be honest. Really, really enjoying it. I had a couple of other things queued up, and I just didn't get there.
Oh dear.
Although we have rolled over, and there's a few more added new, so I need to have a look at those as well. Yeah. But yeah, No Man's Sky and Skyrim for me. It's all about the sky.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Me?
What about you?
I actually bought myself a new game. Not a full price game, and it is Star Wars Squadrons, which I bought on the PlayStation, so I can play in VR, and you're basically piloting TIE fighters, X-wings. I've only done the first two like training missions so far, and had a couple of goes on the online dogfights. But yeah, it is amazing.
How are you going to stream on VR?
Yeah, that is the question, isn't it? It's like, do I like play a game and then take the headset off, look at the chat, or do I just go, well, if I'm streaming it, I won't play it in VR. I'll just play it normal. Because it's like you can play it normally. You don't have to have VR, but it is so good. Like you just obviously sat in the cockpit. TIE fighters are really hard because they have that small window at the front to look through.
Yeah.
But the X-Wings, they're great because you're like looking like this as the ships go around. Like, where are they going? Fly.
No way.
So yeah, I recommend you play it. It's in VR. You should have that as your first VR experience because it is good.
Few difficult decisions to make there, really.
Well, yeah, it was like, shall I get it on the Xbox? Because I know I want the Xbox Series X, and obviously it's enhanced for it to be better on the Series X. But then it was like, yeah, but VR.
Also, I do notice from your streams you have got a new
that's a story. A new chair.
A new chair. I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to do it.
I do
know
have
what
a
we're
new
doing
chair.
This week.
Look, I can lean back into it. I can take the lock off. And I can lean back.
Don't fall off the chair. Don't fall off the chair.
The only downside is it doesn't come any further forward than this. So it's kind of like relaxed play all the time unless I'm sat upright.
Relaxing gameplay.
Yeah, it was like... So that was the problem I had with buying a gaming chair. It was like, I wasn't adverse to spending £100, £150 on a chair. Because let's face it, that's how much they are. But what I did have a problem was not being able to sit in one before I brought it. Because it's like, you just don't know. So I just popped down to like the range. And obviously this is like an office chair. It was well under £100, this one. But I sat in it, I was like, yeah, that's okay. And off I went with it.
And is it comfortable for a 2.5-hour stream?
Yes, I streamed Skyrim on it on Sunday night. One of my One Life challenges. Tegan, she was a two-handed orc who unfortunately died very abruptly. She was doing really well. I know, right? We were doing really well. And all of a sudden, just some necromancer shot 2 fireballs at me and I died. It was a bit like, it's a bit anticlimactic. But yeah, it's fine to sit on. I need a little footstool, I think. Little footstool for it.
A footstool.
Yeah, because at the moment I'm having to put my feet on the table where the TV is, and I'm scared that the table might collapse and the TV will fall.
Scared of that too.
And I'd cry. But
yeah,
that's all I've really been playing. Obviously, keeping up my Fall Guys streams. I think I'm going to try and diversifying my streaming. Add a couple of other games to my streaming schedule.
I think you should. I think I should. Let's get into some news, shall we?
Some quick news, that kind of news that we don't really want to talk about, but we feel like we probably should.
Yes.
Although this first story is you actually want to talk about it, and this is why you need to bring stories to the table. Send them to me and be like, we need to talk about this, and I'll be like, okay.
I'm bringing this to the table.
Okay, so this is like the quick news with a slightly extended first news section of the quick news, but the rest of the news will be quick, so don't worry. Amazon is giving up on Crucible after only 5 months. But they're offering a full refund if you bought it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say a little bit about this because I had high hopes for this when it was launched in May. And it's, let's just say, completely rubbish. The reviews, if you look online, they say reviews are mixed. But I think you can probably say that pretty much everybody is in agreement on this in that it just doesn't know what it's doing. Doesn't really know what it's trying to achieve. There are different types of gameplay which seem very muddled. A lot of when you're in battle royale or paired up status, you just don't get enough good gameplay because of the way the map is and the gameplay is structured. And I think, for me anyway, this is one of the most disappointing launches of this year.
Yeah, I'm guessing just the lack of players as well makes the whole experience a bit more
the problem was there weren't a lot of players initially and they dropped off very quickly, so you can wait a long time to be paired up into a double.
I mean, saying that, this isn't even on my story list, but I remember this story from earlier. Reports are that the Avengers game that came out not that long ago, a couple months or so ago now, on PC it's actually dropped below 1,000 active players.
Really?
And people are like having trouble getting into games because of that.
Yeah. So this is a similar problem, but this started out in development in 2014, and obviously 6 years is a long time to put into a game, and clearly they've put a lot of money into it. But I think what they've come a cropper of here is the lockdown effect. Now, lockdown happened all over the world with a kind of staggered start, but we sort of found ourselves in lockdown April, May, that sort of time. And I think what's happened here is they've just launched too soon. I think if they'd have cooked it another 6 months, this would have been really good game. I think it had the capacity there, but now your problem becomes that participation is dropping like a stone, and that's just compounding itself, and now we're at the point they've had to pull it.
I think it doesn't help either that this style of game is a very saturated market now.
I believe it's
everyone's trying to get a piece of the pie of this kind of market, and the problem is the people that like this style of game, they've found the game for them, and they're not so willing to move away. Like Fortnite players will play Fortnite all the time. Call of Duty players will play Call of Duty. PUBG players are on PUBG. It's rare, people don't really want to
crossover doesn't happen.
Drop that game to go to another game when they've invested so much time and, let's face it, money into that game, because it's like,
so this is terribly disappointing, and it's not going to come back either. No, they are offering free refunds, so this literally is dead in the water.
That's the problem with like games like this. It's like once the servers are switched off, they're gone. You can't play them ever again.
Yeah.
More quick news, but this news will be quicker. Spellbreak is getting its first seasonal update next week.
I'm already gone.
Yeah, but they're updating it. People like you is what ruined Crucible.
That's true.
Mortal Kombat 11 fans are finally getting Melina and Rambo in Combat Pack number 2. There's a demo available for Pikmin 3 on Nintendo Switch, available now, and your game progress will be saved and carried over if you buy the main game. John Romero has confirmed on Twitter that Doom Guy's actual name is Doom Guy.
Of course it is. Fall Guys time!
Fall Guys Season 2 came out last Thursday. And
woo!
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what I was expecting, but I think I was expecting slightly more variation than what they've done. Essentially,
from watching your streams is not a great deal extra.
It's exactly the same games are still in there. They haven't got rid of any games, and they've added 4 new ones. They have rejinked the music though. Some of the tracks are absolutely amazing now. Like, they're true like gym workout musics. But in the most important quick news, El Gran Queso has finally won a crown in Fall Guys.
In the closing moments of season 1.
In the last few moments of my last stream for season 1 before season 2 started, I managed to win a crown.
And you know what was crazy about this for the listeners? I slipped into your stream to say hi, and you're rubbish. Literally 2 minutes before you hit the crown.
It was amazing.
Do you know, I have to say, you went quiet for about 5 or 6 seconds, like in disbelief.
It just finally happened. Well, what's funnier is, do you know I had to go to Telford on Friday?
Yes.
When I was there dropping the wrestling ring off, one of the guys there is someone who watches some of my streams. And he was there and saw that. And he was just like, it just felt like a work. You know, you were just pretending to lose all those games just so you could win a crown on the very last day. It's like, no.
You took it down to the wire.
I was desperately trying to get crowns. So now I've set a new goal of trying to get 2 crowns in season 2.
2 for 2.
Still haven't got one yet.
Cool. Let's go to the main news.
The main news. The kind of news where we do want to talk about. Sony has done online a PS5 teardown where they took the PS5 to bits and showed us exactly what is in it.
There's a lot in it.
There is. Do we hope so for the amount of money and the size of the beast?
Well, yes. Very, very true.
So, I mean, like, this always happens. Go away. It's like, you can just see the guy sitting there with a PS5 next to him and just like, it's the size of his torso.
Yeah, it's huge. It is, to be honest.
It is a big, big thing. Mostly because there's a massive, great big heatsink inside it.
Yes, but I noticed that. The heatsink is enormous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really one that cares about what happens and what powers my gaming console. I just care about playing on it. But the thing I think that was interesting for me is they have the T1000 cooled in it.
Yes. But for those who don't know, this is a liquid metal cooling system, which has been just over 2 years in development, and really this is designed to help it run more quietly, because obviously it's been a bit of an issue in the past.
Yeah, the PS4 Pro was very, very loud apparently. Not that I've got one.
This is designed to run quietly, and they've been working on that for about 5 years apparently. That's what they're saying. So they've got the huge heatsink, they've got the liquid metal cooling system, and as a result, we're told that it's much, much quieter. So, yeah, that's something to look out for. There's also USB-A and C, ultra high definition Blu-ray drive, which is apparently...
Only in one model, though. Not in the other model.
Which is apparently easily removable. But actually, it was quite simple to take. It took about 6 minutes for this die to completely take it to bits.
Yeah, I think they probably didn't film him taking out every single screw that was in the system.
No, but he might have had a bit of a practice. But to be fair, what they are saying is it's very serviceable, and I can see that.
Yeah, it's even got like dust ports in it where you can vacuum the dust out from inside.
Yeah,
and so you don't have to like totally dismantle it. There's a picture on screen at the moment of the PlayStation all lined out. I think one of the only things that does have people slightly concerned is the SSD is actually soldered to the board.
Yes, I saw that.
Obviously, SSDs don't have an unlimited lifespan. So people are a bit concerned, like in 20 years' time, whether these things are actually going to be working on that.
Is it going to last that long?
Yeah, I mean, I know they're saying
new console before then.
They're saying it's graded though to like
possibly.
It's like 179 years of like the amount of like read writes it can do. So I don't think it's as much as an issue as people are sort of putting out there.
There's always drama.
Oh yeah, I mean the drama over the Xbox Series X of it, like, oh, the Xbox Series X is overheating. Whereas basically someone said on a podcast, it's warm when you touch it, but it's kind of like it's meant to be because the chips and that they use generate a lot of heat. If it wasn't warm, that's when you should be scared.
Yeah.
So the PlayStation 5 comes close to bits okay, but I will never do that to a PlayStation 5 because I would lose bits and it would never work again.
You would, because quite honestly, you're not the most handy of us, are you?
Exactly. But the other thing is...
Do you remember that time you routed your finger?
Yeah, of course I do, because that was only earlier this year. Jeez. How could I forget such a thing?
Yeah. I got a router. I thought to myself, this is not good news. And then literally only hours later, I think I've routed my finger.
The height of lockdown. I bet I best go to A&E.
Send me a picture.
Best go to the walk-in centre.
Get to the walk-in centre now.
It wasn't a queue, though. It was good.
Yeah, it was all right. So, next story.
What is the next story?
Overwhelming majority of the 4,000 PS4 games will be playable on the PS5.
Yes.
This is something that we've been talking about for a while.
Yeah, so, we didn't have any news on really like the backwardly compatible ability of the PlayStation 4. And basically,
so there are 10 actually that
there
won't.
There are 10 that won't work, which are DWVR, Afro Samurai 2, Revenge of Kuma, Volume 1, TTR Le Mans, Ride on the Edge 2, Just Deal With It, Shadow Complex Remastered, Robinson, The Journey, We Sing, Hitman Go, Definitive Edition, Shadwen, and Joe's Diner. They won't work on PlayStation 5. The question is why? That's what I want to know.
Do you know what, though? I feel like this is a little bit of a fudged announcement, to be honest, because what they said was the overwhelming majority will work, but then they say you may find there are, and this is a quote, errors or unexpected behavior, and that you should test before purchasing a DLC. Yep. Some selective games will benefit from the game boost feature, but I don't think that makes up for the fact that it's like, oh, well, you might get errors and check before you buy any additional content. Well, either you know or you don't know.
I think
which one is it?
When you break it down, though, if there's like, 4,000 games they're saying will play on the PlayStation 5, even if they had a team of 100 people testing the games, how long would it take to test 4,000 games? Even with 100 people testing it? Do you know?
Depends on how long they test it for.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, though, you can't just test a game by just putting it in and playing for 5 minutes.
No.
Because something could happen further down the lane. You've got to test a game, you have to play from start to end and do lots of other things, which is why game testers spend hours and hours and hours on games. So I think it's kind of like, well, we just haven't actually tested all the games, but we're sure they'll work.
Yeah,
you might get some glitches, but just don't spend any money on buying DLC.
It'd be all right. So there is some stuff that's not supported. The PS4 tournaments, the in-game live, and the second screen apps. They don't. They're not supported. So I'm like, this is going to be suck it and see.
Yeah, just try and see what happens. I mean, to be fair though, it's not. I don't know, because PlayStation 2 PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2 played PlayStation 1 games. The original PlayStation 3 played PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games. PlayStation 4 kind of went, nope. Nope.
Not having
it. So, you know, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Apparently there's like a game boost mode as well, which will boost PS4 games and make them run with a higher or smoother frame rate. But that's just on a like game-to-game basis. You just got to pop it in and see what happens. Because they don't know. They don't know. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. But yeah, so still nothing.
Now we're going to get into the first of our legal stories. And if I had one of them little wigs, a legal wig, it'd be time to put it on now.
Order! Order!
I'm going to be Judge Judy.
I know. We've got another class action lawsuit for Joy-Con drift. Oh, hang on. It's not Joy-Con, is it? It's Microsoft. It's the Microsoft Xbox controllers.
So this actually, this suit was issued earlier. This is an amendment to the suit.
Yes.
So it is basically as regards. So basically, what's happened is they've added 7 additional plaintiffs to this class action. They've added a request for a jury and some extra details on the alleged defect, which they cite failure to disclose and routinely repair the controller without a charge, and that they are alleging large volumes of consumers have had this problem since at least 2014, and members of the general public have a right to know the latent details regarding the Xbox controller components. So it's basically they've just updated this to make it a stronger suit. That's where we're at with that. It's a class action, and I think it'll run, to be honest.
I've not really heard anything about like the stick drift on an Xbox controller. Obviously, like Nintendo, you hear it all the time with the Joy-Cons. But personally, I've not really heard anything like this.
I haven't heard a lot of it. I mean, I did have a little bit of drift on mine, but what had happened with mine is the firmware hadn't updated itself, and as soon as I did that, but in the meantime, I had rung Microsoft, and it was a brand new controller, and they said because it's out of 90 days, you'll have to pay for it to be repaired. Now, in the UK, there is no repair centre. Closest one is Germany.
Yeah.
So that's worth knowing.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's a bit shocking about this is they've also added the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller.
And they are not cheap,
which retails for like £180.
Exactly. I looked at those, to be honest. I was very interested in one of those, and I was surprised to see them cited in this.
I've looked at them. There's no point getting one now because there'll be an Elite Series 3 when the new Xbox come out.
Absolutely.
Because obviously the button layout has got the share button on and things, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
I think there's a way to go with this story. Yeah, I think the suit will probably be amended. I think they'll get more participants in it because they've only just added 7.
It's one of those things.
They'll start coming out of the woodwork. This will go the same way as Joy-Con.
It'll go on for a long, long time, and then eventually people that have had the problem will probably get a check through for like £4 or £5.
Well, yeah.
You know, when you break it all down kind of thing. Yeah, so that's the Xbox drift.
And then we've got another lawsuit. So this is the battle between Epic and Apple.
Continuation from the Epic and Apple saga. We've actually had a judge pop in and say some things.
So this is Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers, and she has actually made a comment on the record about this, and it's to do with the fact that she thinks the ramifications for platform holders like Nintendo refer to the way that what she refers to is a walled garden business operating model. So if you've got content that's limited to your own console, then she feels like that once we open this can of worms with Epic and Apple, then it could spill over into all the other content that tends to be tied.
Which like say Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, they all charge 30% to have your products on their stores.
So she is obviously giving forewarn that this will set a precedent. That's what she's doing.
Yeah.
And once that happens, obviously in the United States, that really goes a very, very long way. So, yeah, I think we said this, though, when this first started, we said this was going to ripple right throughout the industry and would have huge ramifications. So I think the judge is only just catching up with us.
Exactly. We're ahead of the time, us.
We're ahead of the time.
Exactly. And it is kind of
Judge
like...
Yvonne is fairly astute.
I mean, the digital marketplace is still a relatively new thing. And obviously, we've passed that 50% mark now where sales are 50-50 digital to physical. So, which is growing tremendously. So we are going to get into that point where it will all be digital or virtually all digital, apart from like the dedicated collectors who really want a physical edition. And it's like, how is this marketplace going to change? Because obviously we've now got a digital-only Xbox and a digital-only PlayStation coming.
Yeah.
Obviously they're thinking, well, we're going to tie our consumers into that market where they're not going to be able to buy games anywhere else apart from us. So we're making money on every single purchase. They can't buy second-hand games. And I think this needs to change. I don't see why you can't have a digital second-hand marketplace where they just put like a key code into each digital purchase that identifies that game as a unique game. So you can sort of go after you finish with it, I want to sell this game on.
Yeah.
Because if you own it, then why shouldn't you be allowed to sell it on?
Well, they don't want that, do they?
No, because they want the full money and everything, you know. But it's like 5 years down the line, your digital games are still a really high premium. Whereas if you can get physical, you can go into like CEX or Game or any place that sells secondhand things and pick them up so much cheaper.
That's right.
Obviously, but the problem with that is the big companies don't get any money from that whatsoever, which is why they don't want this to happen.
That high, so that's
So I think it's I know some people have kind of like sort of portraying Epic now as the bad guys in this situation because they could ruin everything for everyone kind of thing. But I still think it's a good thing because we need to get a grip on how the digital gaming market is going to exist, because it's still...
I think there's a problem, down the line if 3 or 4 providers are just carving up access to all gaming material. That's where this is headed if we're not careful. So I don't see Epic as the bad guy by any means. And I think, the game industry is in a massive state of change, both where the technology is evolving and also where business practices are evolving. So I think we'll see several more court rulings to come over this.
Like I say, it's an evolving thing, because obviously it's a new system, and one of our viewers agrees. Was it Nenda Sims? She wants to buy Death Stranding, but she doesn't want to pay full price. She would love a second-hand digital copy.
Well, totally. I mean, I think if, we could find a way to make that work.
Well, exactly. And the thing is, if it was a digital second-hand copy, then Microsoft, Sony and Nintendo could still get revenue from it because they'd be hosting it all.
Exactly.
So, we'll find out. Things will happen.
Things are going to shake down in the next 18 months.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people are predicting that the next lot of consoles, like the Xbox Series X and PS5, are probably going to be the last ones with actual media built in.
Yeah.
So we will see. We will see.
18 months, that's my prediction. In the next 18 months, that it's all going to play out and we're going to see the way the industry is going.
Yes. So moving on.
Okay.
Sega, they kind of said that they've just released like the Sega Game Gear Mini. Have you seen the Game Gear Mini? It's ridiculous. It's like
it is a bit ridiculous.
It's like the screen is smaller than an SD card.
Yeah.
But they only released it in Japan, and they were like, "Yeah, we want to do another mini console." And they kind of said it's. Have I got the quote anywhere? Talk. Oh, here we go. Next, we're considering concepts similar to the Mega Drive Mini. if I had to name some ideas, something like the SG-1000 Mini or the Dreamcast Mini. And because they said that, now everyone's saying, oh, we're going to get a Dreamcast Mini.
I don't know. I mean, it was said tongue-in-cheek. I mean, it could happen. But here's the problem with it. Dreamcast sold relatively small number of units.
Yes, well, it was the last Sega
exactly.
console.
So I've got the figures here. So if you think PS2 sold 155 million units, Dreamcast only sold 9 million units.
Yes.
So there's your issue right there.
That is less. Let's put this into perspective. That is less than the Nintendo Wii U that everyone says was a failure.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, I've heard that the Dreamcast emulation is at an advanced stage.
Raspberry Pi,
it could happen.
Raspberry Pi 4 plays Dreamcast perfectly. So it's not like... It's not going to be a massively expensive chipset to put in there to be able to get Dreamcast emulation.
Yeah.
And it's got its fan base, but... It
has. I don't think it's... You know, what they've said is if it's going to happen, it's going to happen this time next year. But to me, the numbers, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like... I think it'd be more likely to... I mean, I don't really know what the SG-1000 is. I think it's a type of like Master System kind of thing. But I think that's more likely. And, you know...
I'd say so.
What's the point in all these mini consoles? They look nice, but, you know, just...
You've got a Raspberry Pi, and let's not forget...
But I own all the ROMs that I play on them.
Yeah. You actually built me a miniature...
arcade cabinet.
Yeah, arcade, which was about... What was it? About 30 centimeters high by about 20 wide.
It's as big as it could be, considering the size of the 3D printer I have.
with a Raspberry Pi inside it.
Yeah. So it's kind of just like...
Was that my last birthday present, or was that I'm moving out present?
That
sounds bad, actually. That makes it sound like we had a terrible breakup. And we'd just like to say to the nice ladies and gentlemen that that's not the case. It was when we sold the house.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago now, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I was living here because I've still got the blue paint mark on the...
It was because I moved into my flat October the 12th, so it's like this week.
I think it might have been a Christmas present.
Yeah, something like that. Because I'm the type of girl that likes tech. Don't buy me bath bombs and slippers. Give me some electronic stuff.
But just don't throw that in the bath.
No.
So Sega are probably going to make another mini console. And it might be the Dreamcast, it might not. Who knows?
We'll see. So the next story is a little bit controversial and is a PG rating, although we're not going to say anything naughty.
No, we never say anything naughty.
Family friendly.
Are.
Okay. So who is this lady? Who is this nice lady, Farron?
This popular TikTok user and Twitch streamer, Poki Princess, I think that's maybe how you pronounce it, she's been forced to rebrand and hand over money to Nintendo after being sued by the company.
Well, this is a very, very layered story, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Essentially, she's a streamer who also works in the adult industry. And
well, hold on a minute. She's not just a streamer, right? She's a very, very popular TikTok star. So on TikTok, she's actually got 1.9 million followers.
Yeah.
And she's about the 50,000 range on Twitch. Yeah. So saying she's popular is a bit of an understatement. She has a massive following. And she's been issued... So when we say sued, not quite. What she's been issued with is a cease and desist notice.
Yeah.
And I think that tells you a lot about her response, to be honest, because cease and desist notice is one step before we're actually going to sue you and get loads of money out of you. So that really kind of dictates her response.
Yeah, it's basically, obviously, like, she's the Poki Princess. She used a lot of Pokemon imagery in her merchandise. There's a picture of the two t-shirts where she's got a Pokeball with her name over it, and she's got a Mew with the name over it. And obviously you can't do that because that's intellectual property of Nintendo and Game Freak.
And do you know what I think? She might have got away with this as, promoting, Nintendo and a bit. I think they possibly would have turned a blind eye.
Yeah.
If she wasn't a woman working in the adult entertainment industry, because they're very, very protective of their family-friendly image. And unfortunately, although, it's like it's not the 1800s anymore, but we're still quite a sex negative society, and a woman working in the adult entertainment industry is just not what they want to be associated with. Where the rights and wrongs of that can be debated separately.
True.
But if she she's basically, she is a performer, so I think what's happened here is a lot of values have kind of got mixed up, and they've decided they're going to take her down.
I think that's part of the reason why. But I think as well, because she has got such a big following and she is so popular, that's brought her to Nintendo's eye. And I think they would have done it anyway, even if she didn't work in the adult industry. I think maybe they did it quicker because she did.
Yeah.
But she actually said on Twitter herself, remember please be kind to Nintendo and not harass them. I am on Nintendo's side, and even though I showed emotion about the name change, I still respect and understand why that doesn't even make sense. I still respect and understand why did had to. I love Nintendo, and so should you. As you said, she was very young when she started
that's what she said.
Branding,
she said,
and she didn't realise.
I'm not 100% convinced by that, but I think she's got to play nice because she's had a cease and desist and she doesn't want to be sued.
Yes.
I think she would rather be nice and polite and say, I did the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I love Nintendo, and carry on with her 1.9 million followers than be shut down.
Exactly.
Frankly. I think if she plays nice, she'll and rebrands, they'll let her go on, and they'll just say, we're going to go our separate ways. If she says the wrong thing, they could slap her with a huge lawsuit, and she would never.
And then give her a
lawsuit
for saying you've got to have your Pokemon tattoos laser cut off before you do anymore.
Well, I mean, honestly, they could, own her soul with what she's done, basically. So that's why, in my opinion, that's why she's being very nice about Nintendo. Is because she's not yet had a lawsuit, but she could get it if she doesn't.
To be fair, I think she probably does like Nintendo because she's got all these tattoos of Nintendo characters and things. Sure. And speaking of Nintendo, Super Nintendo World will be opening in Japan next spring.
Woo!
When are we going?
I know, I'd love to go. So this was supposed to open just before the Tokyo Olympics.
It was meant to coincide with the Tokyo Olympics this year.
2020.
But for some strange reason, it didn't happen.
Global pandemic and all, bit awkward. So that's going to be opening next year instead. However, the themed cafe and store will be opening next week from October 16th.
And there's
which is
rendered
pretty
picture
good. This is at Universal Studios in Japan.
Yes.
It's
very Nintendo-y.
What I'm excited about is the Mario and Luigi themed pancake sandwiches.
They look nice.
They do, don't they?
They got little speech bubbles in there. And I can understand Luigi's one. Okie dokie, because he says that. But I don't get the Mario's one. Whose cap? When has he ever said whose cap?
I don't know. It's me. That's what I want to
say. It's like a green one. It's like a cream and looks like grapes, I'd guess. Yeah. And the Mario one's cream with strawberries.
Yeah. So they've also got a super mushroom drink, which I'm slightly skeptical about.
Never just drink super mushrooms. They're bad.
Mustachio fruit cream sodas.
It looks very nice. It looks expensive.
Yeah.
And there's there's a nice T-shirt you can buy.
Yeah. So obviously this is ahead of them opening something similar in the other destinations, Orlando, Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a long way off though. Unfortunately, the American one.
I just want the Mario Kart ride, bestie. Can we go and go on that?
We'll just go on everything. It
just
looks
how
amazing.
I love Mario Kart though. I just feel like that'd be my thing.
Just walking around with piranha plants and things walking over. It's just going to be
awesome. And pancake sandwiches.
Exactly. What's not to love? It's where I need to go. It's where I need to go for
Totes. How long's the flight over to Tokyo?
I'll take off on Flight Simulator later and let you know.
All right, text me.
Well, in a small like twin propeller, one it's about 48 hours. I'm still playing.
Can we drive to find the hedgehog in the woods?
We can look for Sonic in the woods as well. It's like we've got it all mapped out.
It's quite a drive, I believe, but I'm up for it.
It's our Japanese tour.
Yeah.
Make some YouTube videos out of that. Here we are in the forest searching for Sonic. Where can he be?
Kesso and Miss Bree on the road. It'd be like Shrek and Donkey.
Are you saying you're Donkey?
Yeah.
Because there's no way you're Shrek.
I'm not Fiona either, though. To be fair, am I?
You're definitely Donkey.
Yeah, I'm Donkey. Oh, can I be the cat? What's the cat's name?
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots. Yeah, I'll be Puss in Boots.
Nah, you can't. You got to be Donkey.
You can be Shrek because you're just bad-tempered like
But
Shrek.
I'm not green.
I'll paint you green and we'll head on over to Tokyo. So, I think it might be quite a long flight, to be honest. I feel like it might be sort of like 16-hour job.
Oh, well.
If not more.
I've got a Nintendo Switch. I'll be fine. I've got two. We can play Mario Kart on the way out there.
That'd be great. I feel like there's a plan coming together, bestie.
Till the boy stands there and says, "But what about me?
What if I break my Xbox again? Please fix it."
I think that's all the stories.
It is. It was mostly legal stuff and porn.
It was.
That was it.
So yeah, we're at this part of the show where we will answer your questions if we had any. If you do want to get in touch with us, either on Twitter, just Ninqueso Live, or leave a comment down in the video below and we will answer you next week. We did actually get a question last week that I didn't notice until after we had finished, and it was to do with, is PlayStation VR compatible with the PS5? Apparently it is, but you will need an adapter to plug the camera in if you don't buy one of the new cameras. Sony have said that the adapter will be free to people that have the PlayStation VR. So you're meant to be able to use the original PSVR 1 on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Which should be good, because if you get that game boost, I mean, that's one of the things that's really helpful for VR, having a really smooth frame rate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that should be good, but you need an adapter because there's nowhere to plug the camera in.
Awesome.
But yeah, I believe that's everything.
Yeah.
So here we go. I've written something.
Oh, we're doing the Batman thing.
I'm prepared.
Okay. All right. 3,
2,
2, 1, go.
Will Sony ever join in the controller lawsuit party? Will I be able to win a crown in Season 2 on Fall Guys? Find out the answer to these questions next time. Same cheesy time, same cheesy channel. Go.
Actual stories may vary.
Perfect.
Just like to say thank you very much to the jingle man, Chris Colbrand Ingham, who put that together for us. I'm very excited over that. Thank you, Chris.
You'll have to watch the thingy now.
So you can find me on Twitter, gamergirl_Miss Brie, JMRGRL_MISSBRIE. And where can they find you, bestie?
We're meant to do these before the outro, aren't we? You can find me on Twitter as Kesso_Cheeselets. You can find me on Facebook as ElGranKesso74. You can find me here on YouTube as ElGranKesso. Plus, we have a lot of other Ninqueso channels. We have a Ninqueso streaming archive channel. We have a Ninqueso clips channel if you don't want to watch the whole of this podcast. And we also have a Ninqueso Smash Brothers Amiibo fighting channel where we have amiibos fight each other. On Smash Brothers, because I get bored on a Sunday and that's what I do with my life.
Good time.
But join us again next week.
Say good night, bestie.
Good night, bestie.